CEA, the Consumer Electronics Association, is the industry authority on market research and forecast, consumer surveys, legislative and regulatory news, engineering standards, training resources, and a whole lot more. This being their annual Washington Forum, we always want to start off the broadcast when we're doing things as we do regularly throughout the year, for 13 of our years, by the way, with the President and CEO of CEA, Mr. Gary Shapiro. How are you, sir?
I am terrific, Dave. Thank you so much. We can now start our conference because you and your wonderful team are here.
It's a pleasure. We love coming to your events because all the industry folks are here. All the folks, the key players, in this case for your Washington Forum, a lot of legislators, a lot of policymakers. We learn a whole lot that we want to share with our audience about this industry and about what folks in this industry are doing and concerns and issues, all in the long run to benefit us as consumers with being able to get us great products.
Absolutely. Once a year, we ask the industry to come to Washington. And it was just a tradition, but now it's become important because it used to be we'd say, Washington, just leave us alone. Yeah. You know, we innovate, we create new cool products, consumers spend money, they buy them, they create jobs. But now we're finding lately, you know, Washington can do things which can hurt us dramatically and hurt our nation. And so we've gotten more vocal and said, look, we're important too, folks. We've created, 4 million jobs directly, 14 million indirectly. We just announced today, actually, a study that says we have $1.3 trillion to the U.S. economy. I mean, we're the engine.
Whoa, CE products, $1.3 trillion to our economy.
$1.3 trillion, because what consumer electronics products do, including IT and PCs and everything cool stuff in the car, nav and MP3 and HD TV, is what they do is they create opportunities for people to create new and cool, useful services, whether it's Google or eBay or Amazon, or whether it's cable television programming or other things. And there's this spin-off effect. And if you look at the growth in the economy and the jobs creation in this country, it's really ties to one thing in the last 20 years, and that is the phenomenal growth in innovation and technology and in free trade. And if you think about it, whether it's getting Netflix or using the internet, it requires a product in your home. That's and the average family has 25 of these great products. And our country, despite the doom and gloom about the economy, we have the lowest unemployment rate of any developed country. You know, we're under 5%, and which is great. Every other country would love that. And why? Well, we have the innovators here. True. We have HP and Apple and Intel and Yahoo and so many others, and all the social networking sites are developing here, and all the innovation, all the cool stuff really around the world is still starting in the United States because we have the coolest, most creative people, and they're very comfortable using technology, especially, let's be honest, younger people.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's where I think that's driving a lot of this innovation. And that's a terrific thing. No matter what it is, if folks are clamoring for technology and clamoring to do new and exciting things with their consumer electronics, companies are paying attention, and they're making the products.
Absolutely. They make them, they sell them, they service them, they create new ways of doing them, and these are the things which create jobs. You know, if you looked at our economy 30 or 40 years ago, the jobs were, that people talk about, manufacturing jobs, and repetitive, low-skill, low-paying jobs. And now we've shifted as an economy to higher-paying, higher-skilled, creative, innovative jobs which allow people to innovate. I mean, anyone can be an innovator with YouTube. You don't need to go to a record company now with the internet. I mean, we've lost some jobs. You don't have someone collecting tolls in a toll booth. You don't have travel agents. We've lost a lot of jobs where people were doing things for other people that now we kind of do ourselves. We use technology to do it, but that's freed us up to do some really cool, exciting things. And the people that are on your program, for the most part, are talking about these great new technologies, great new things. Mm-hmm. Scott McNeely of Sun was telling me Monday night about how there's basically two types of companies now. There's companies that are less than 20 years old. He says they use Java, they like MySpace and others, and they're just starting from scratch immediately. They're open source, they're open standards, and they're very young people. And then there's all their established companies which are struggling just to keep up with their existing software systems and change. But no matter what the technology and free trade are important. The reason is because they are what is fueling this economy and allowing us to just basically jump into this next era.
What impact do you think the economy will have on the consumer electronics industry? Because you talk about, as you mentioned earlier, some people talking about doom and gloom and all these issues. do you think it's going to have an impact in general in the consumer electronics field, or is it, again, innovation is driving it regardless of economy?
You know, I just came from a meeting with some of the top leaders of our industry talking about that in terms of where we put our focus and what we do and what's the economy going to be like compared to internationally. And there's a lot of faith in the U.S. economy. There's a lot of money sitting around. There's a lot of good things happening, low unemployment. There's the stimulus package. There's in our industry, there's a focus on HDTV. The DVD format wars have been solved, if you will. There's good things happening. And we're projecting 6% growth. But there is a correlation between our industry and the economy. And, right now we're projecting 6% growth for the year. We think that'll hold. But we're also looking at, frankly, is this political season. And it's gotten a little difficult because we have relied upon free trade. We've had 4 different presidents and administrations focused on free trade, and now we're hearing from some of the candidates saying free trade is a horrible thing. Now, if we start going the wrong direction on free trade, I think our economy is doomed. I think our country is doomed. We won't be able to access technology. Right now, for example, Sony makes displays in Pittsburgh, exports them to Colombia, has to pay a 20% tariff. Oh. Well, Congress, thanks to Nancy Pelosi, is not considering the free trade agreement with Colombia, which would reduce that tariff to 0. And there's no reason that Congress shouldn't be focusing on free trade and passing these free trade agreements. They passed the Peru one. We wanted to pass Colombia. We wanted to pass Korea because it's good for jobs. It's good for America and allows us to be #1 in innovation.
And what's the mindset for those that think it's not a good idea?
The mindset is there are union leaders telling Nancy Pelosi not to do it, and she wants their vote. They want to prove that they're still very powerful. And, they haven't looked at the economics. And free trade is disruptive to some people in the short term, but over the long run, it allows everyone access to technology at reasonable prices.
So people like Nancy need to realize that you're going to hurt the economy in the long run. You're going to hurt the U.S. in the long run to not allow free trade, is what it seems to me.
I think we need our legislators to vote in the national interest, not basically in whatever their union representative leadership interest are saying their interest should be.
Exact. Good point. Look at the entire big picture. A lot of cool CEA upcoming events as well. You guys are packed on a regular basis throughout the year with very cool things. It all starts off every year with the big Consumer Electronics Show and goes from there. You've got shows in Dubai now, CES International. You've got, of course, Sino CES in China. A lot of big events as well as forums, industry leader forums and so forth. So you guys continue to lead this industry into tomorrow, and we're delighted to be part of helping get the message out. So.
And I so appreciate you being here. You and your team are great.
Well, thank you, Gary. Gary Shapiro, the president and CEO of CEA, the Consumer Electronics Association, CE.org. One of our other favorite sites you hear us talking about regularly, digitalfreedom.org as well. There's a lot of very good information at these sites. Come by ours. We'll link you to all of them when you visit us at graveline.com or intotomorrow.com. We're back with more from the CEA Washington Forum in our nation's capital. I'm Dave Graveline. This is Into Tomorrow on the Advanced Media Network.